Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I am Alexis.
And I am Samantha.
Hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I am doing good on this Eclipse Monday. I have been resting, doing what the spiritual girls are telling me, the spiritual girlies. I'm staying inside. I had my head covered.
Wow.
I was wearing white. Like I was like not playing.
You said I am a virgin.
I will be reborn
I will be
today.
reborn
Okay?
today. I actually love that.
Yes, it was cool. I got a lot of rest. I wasn't working today as I worked this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So me and little Jupiter just rested a lot. So hopefully he continues that rest as we talk today. How about you? How are you?
I'm doing good. I mean, so many things are making me happy, and then so many things are making me like bleh. One thing making me like, I'm a single dog mom this week, y'all. On Thursday, Julia will be back, but today I took a walk with them after my part-time job. Yes, and they were pissing me off. When I say pissing me off, I was like yelling. Like Tonks was barking at every fucking person with a skateboard. She literally, there was a little like this really cute black girl, like she was probably like 8, like roller skating in front of me. Tonks barks at her and she falls. And I'm
No.
I know, and I felt awful, and I was so Here we go talking about dog barking. And so literally, I was so embarrassed. And then Mello's afraid to death of kids. And so Mello's like, sees like I said, there's a girl roller skating around us. Her brother's behind us. So Mello's like sprinting, looking back, sprinting.
Oh
and so I'm just like so annoyed. And then Tonks barked at another person that was on a skateboard, almost fell off. I was like, I'm so annoyed. She was pulling like crazy. Anyway, that made me annoyed. But then what made me happy was the South Carolina Gamecocks won the national championship for the women. I'm so happy for women's basketball. Like, I wanted to tell you this statistic, okay? Mm-hmm. Last night, 18.7 million people watched the final game. This is the tweet, that makes it the most watched basketball game in 5 years, over men's sports, over college sports, over professional basketball, college basketball. It is the most watched game in 5 years. We're talking NBA finals, champion, like all those things. And I'm just like so proud. And it like, even though, I wanted South Carolina to win. But even though I do still want to give a shout out to Caitlin Clark, even though I know Caitlin Clark is not going to ever listen to this, maybe one day, I do want to give a shout out to her because like it's undeniable that she brought most of those viewers, I would say. She has broken every single record you can break in women's college basketball. She has, she made the most points out of men or women in women's college basketball history this year. She has outdid the 3-point shooting, three-point shooting, like, what is it called? Record. She will be the number 1 women's draft pick this year. And she is just, honestly, like, people put her in the conversation of, did we just watch like the best women's basketball player for college ever, And so, I mean, this is why 18.7 million people tuned in. And yes, she lost, but like the weight she carried this year, I feel like, cannot go unnoticed. And
yes, and I'm seeing that I wasn't like paying attention, sadly. I like it just happened so fast. Like I was like I want to watch a game, and then it was like over. But I see she's number 22, and number 22 girl.
She's number 22, yeah.
Born on January 22nd.
And we're talking Samantha putting a team on her back. Right, like she didn't. I mean, South Carolina has their bench goes deep, but Iowa, like, she carried that team from the beginning of the year to all the way to the NCAA finals twice. This is their second year in the final game. And so I'm just saying, like, it is incredible, but, go Gamecocks, and I love Don Staley. But anyway, and then
So you were happy with who won?
I didn't care. Like, for me at that point, like, I felt like both teams deserved it. The Gamecocks had an undefeated season. They have never lost a game in their regular season and obviously in the tournament. Wow. So, I mean, they deserve to win. Don Staley, I love her. She's a great coach.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes. She like won Coach of the Year.
She won Coach of the Year, yeah. And then I feel like then Iowa, I feel like everyone wants the story of Caitlin Clark in the sense that like we are watching like the Michael Jordan of, I don't even want to compare her to a man, but like the best basketball player for women's basketball for college ever to go, and it's like the story arc to go from a school like University of Iowa, like they're not known for
Yeah, I'm like, where is
basketball.
this girl? Where'd she come from?
Right. And then to
Like,
take them all the way 2 years in a row to the number one game. I mean, you can't deny her talent. She had 18 points in the first quarter. Like LeBron James tweeted like you can't say what you can say, but you can't say that she's not like a goat. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like,
wow.
so yeah, it was just like that was fun to watch. And then oh my God, this is the last thing I'll say because then I want to just get into other stuff. But I teach at a bougie school in Brooklyn. And so today was the solar eclipse, and so like all last week they were like, we brought like glasses for the kids, it'll be fun. And so I'm thinking like this will be a fun little activity for the kids to do. I mean, so I then like show up to work today and they're like, actually we're gonna do like a YouTube live stream. And I'm like, why? And they were like, we just don't want to take the risk, and like for the kids, like we can't keep their like make sure that they're keeping their sunglasses on. And I'm just like, okay, put it like what a missed learning opportunity. Like this happens once in every 20 years. Like get a freaking permission slip, and the parents who believe that their kids will keep the sunglasses on, sign them off. I feel like there's more risk at a field trip. Like you could lose your kid, they could not make it on the bus, all those things. You're telling me that like this is worse than that. Like, and like, okay, I get you might get injury, but I feel like missing your kid is way worse than injury. So it's just like the fact that like you're not doing. I was like, what? I just feel I don't know. It made me just have this real weird thought about whiteness and like overprotection and like this weird thing as if they're like a precious gem. Like I feel like when I taught at my urban education school, I will say, and when I was a teacher in Milwaukee, y'all, for 4 years. I taught third grade on the north side of Milwaukee, and I feel like this like fear and overprotection just wasn't there. And I feel like that's a thing to think about. Like on one side, I feel like yes, I feel like that's because like people don't like care about Black kids, but then at the same time, I also feel like there's this less fear and overprotection.
Yeah,
like
it's like a preciousness.
Right, exactly. And I'm just like, literally, the only thing we had some permission slips for was field trips. Other than that, any impromptu thing I wanted to do, I didn't ask anybody. I just did it. Like I just did it. Like literally, I was telling Julia this story the other day because I was like, I already know I'm about to go to work and they're about to be like so weird about like the eclipse and like we got to make sure we do this and that and what about the kids? And I was telling her how like one time there was like a assembly and they like have been reminding us about this assembly all week, and then the assembly comes, I completely forget. I'm like teaching math, 15 minutes go by, the assembly started, I'm like teaching math in my class. The fourth grade teacher comes in and is like, where are you at? Like, the assembly's like been started 15 minutes ago. I was like, oh shit. I literally was like, line up. That's all I said. The kids like run to the line, okay? And then I look at Dion, because Dion, I just will never forget this. I like look at Dion because he was the line leader for that week. And I look at him and I say, run, I'll meet you at the cafeteria. The kids take off laughing. They're like giggling, cracking up as they're like laughing, running. And I'm laughing too because I'm like shutting the door, running behind them. Like, we got to get there. And then at the cafeteria, we're like cracking up, laughing. They're like wait for me there. They all like line back up, And then I'm like, all right, walk into there. And like, we're good. It's just like, I feel like as a teacher, I just did not sweat shit because if they were going to misbehave, I'll deal with it. But I just feel like
so funny.
I just feel like this is just, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I need to think through my thoughts on it more, but I do think there's this weird connection with like whiteness and overprotection.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely can see that. Yeah, I mean, I think it happens in subtle ways. Like even where I'm working, like there was like a little Black girl in a yoga class. It was like a kids thing. And she was the only Black girl, and like she was upset, and I just was paying extra attention to her because I know how like those situations can go where they'll just kind of brush her off and like, be like, she's whatever, like that's just what she does. I'm like, what do you need, sweetheart? Like, do you need some water? Like, what's happening with you right now? Because this is overwhelming.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think it's something we should talk about one day.
When I fully have it developed, I'll think about it because this is like a new experience for me to be in like a white school. So it's just very in Brooklyn, but it's very interesting. But whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah. So I guess let's let's get into who is on trial this week, Alexis.
I mean, I have some thoughts, but I know that one day I want to ask you. But anyway,
Yeah.
maybe next week I'll ask you. But I mean,
Okay.
what's been on my mind lately, and we kind of talked about this earlier, and I
Yeah,
don't
we
know if
talk about
anyone's
the topics in morning, so
but like I mean I feel like I've seen like so many of our like black celebrities on Twitter like beefing. Like Glorilla and JT were going back and forth with each other. JT and Young Miami went back and forth with like an hour ago. Kendrick and J. Cole and
Drake.
Drake. Oh my god, yeah, I needed you to fill me in on like what Drake has to do with it. But
girl, I do not know.
but I don't know. I was like noticing this thing, and I don't know. I feel like sometimes just in life we've talked about like a little bit about this, but like, and even with the thing with JT and Young Miami, but anyway, like with Glorilla and JT, like, you know, they were going back and forth, and I know it had something to do with like you lied about me about punching me to my face, punching you in my face, and then someone's like, when you actually like hit me with a person, like you think you're hard, but you're not. You just were poor. You didn't go to jail. I went to jail, and blah blah. And it was like trying to like one up each other on like who's the hardest, and like I'm hard and I get, you know, and that's good, and I'm get cred because I went to jail and you didn't go to jail. And I'm just like, and then like I know Glorilla posted JT's mugshots, and JT was like, right, and I'll go like, you know, and then I'll get another one too. And I'm just like, what is up with this language and this like lifestyle and generation maybe where like that's good. Like, why is going to jail like something we should like we're flaunting?
Right. Yeah, and yeah, and I saw literally just before now you were sending me Carisha and JT going at it. Like the city girls are over.
Yeah, the city girls are over. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, for now, they're definitely.
And even just like her, like you sent me a tweet the other day that was like, not JT, Young Miami, like being like, you know, fuck with me, my new song's coming out next week, you know, and it's just like, how old are we, yo? Like, you got 2 kids, like, how old are me that we're making songs called "Fuck with Me"? Like what, or whatever the hell it was. Like it's just embarrassing, and I'm just like,
it is.
Don't we like? Or maybe it was called "Can't Fuck with Me" or something, and it was just like, don't we want better for our like community? Yeah, like why are we flaunting going to jail
and being on Twitter, being our main form of talking to each other? It's just weird. Like just to know that they were on their phone reading the girl's tweet and then like typing back and whatever. It's like it
grow up.
Like it's very high school. And
but what's like, I don't know, what's like like I guess I want to know like if you could get in their mind, like what's attractive about that? Like I like right now, if somebody were to tweet me like you fake bitch, I would literally probably send it to y'all and then laugh. The last thing you would see me do is retweet. I might retweet and put LOL. That's the most I would do. But it's like, what is the like, aren't they embarrassed? Don't they think this makes them look bad? I would be so embarrassed as a 31-year-old to be going back and forth with a Twitter beef. Like, I don't understand why other people don't feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. I don't think they're embarrassed. Like, in Glorilla, I just looked up Glorilla's age. Glorilla is 24. Mm-hmm. And how old is Miami? She's 30 something. No, I think she's 30. Young Miami's 30.
Right? Like last year for me. Like, what would I be? I don't know. I feel like there's this weird like
JT's 31.
I feel like there's this weird like idolization of like I don't even know, like that aesthetic. Being hard.
I mean, I told you this morning, I'm like, Glorilla always talking about some jail food in her songs. And I'm just like, when I get to that lyric, I'm like, no.
It's interesting because I feel like, jail food. I don't know. This is just makes me like think, but it's like interesting because I feel like a lot of people have debates about like, which I think is so toxic within the Black community of like, like what's pro-black and what's, who's pro-black and how are you pro-black, and don't get Dr.
Mhm.
Umar started. He's gonna tell you if you like a white person, you ain't pro-black and all those things. But it's like, wouldn't this
Bunny
be
hopping.
right? But but wouldn't this be like, wouldn't someone look at this situation and be like, that's anti-black as hell? Like, to be literally like
Yeah.
on Twitter going back and forth with another black woman, like bringing them down just as much as they're bringing you down, putting pictures up of them of their mugshot, literally idolizing, you like, you're not hard, you're not this, like, you get cred for me if you're a black person who goes to jail. Like, wouldn't that be considered anti-black to people? Like, I don't understand why that's like funny or glorified.
Yeah, it's like, especially because we know these young people are listening to this music, and the young people are really the ones paying attention to this stuff. Like, I feel like, people at our age, like we're in our 30s, like we see it, whatever, but these young people are really the ones like in the comments. And like, I've seen so many people that are like, I wasn't even alive when like Survivor came out. I'm like, okay, yes, like people are, I was talking about Beyonce. Sorry.
I'm about to say, I'm like Survivor the show. I'm like, okay.
No,
why
I'm
does
sorry.
that care?
But like Beyonce, just like
Mhm.
seeing that, like she was well onto her in her
Mhm.
career before some of these kids were born.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I saw something about like Sexy Red was invited to like an elementary school or something.
I saw
and,
that,
like,
but then they took it back.
She smelled like weed. And I'm like, yeah, well, what do you expect from Sexy Red? Like,
But
it's
also
like,
Sexy
why would you
Red
invite this to why
to
would
the
you
school.
invite her to this elementary school?
But also Sexy Red, why would you show up smelling like weed? Like, this is my thing. I think it goes both ways. Like, the school, what did you expect? This is Sexy Red. But then secondly, if I know I'm going to I just feel like in general, like professionalism, for example, last week I went to UT Austin to give a presentation. Of course, I put on an outfit. I did my
Alexis,
hair. Like, why does not
completely
translate? Why does not that translate?
Sexy Red's profession is to be Sexy Red.
Girl, you're going around kids.
And I'm looking at her age, and I do feel like age has a lot to do with this stuff. Mm-hmm. Sexy Red is 25, Glorilla's 24.
25?
Even at that age, yes, I was not.
I was a teacher at 25.
Yes, we were professional and like older. But I'm just saying, like, I do feel like,
and she got kids, she know.
I know. The weed thing, I'm like, I could see how I just can see how a young person like Sexy Red would maybe feel like, I don't know. I just remember being at that age, people were just boofing all the time, and just like if you're a smoker, like, and you're in this rap crew, I'm guessing she's not just coming by herself. It's just like, I can see how that could happen. That's why with that situation, I'm more
you
so
need healing.
like,
not you, but she needs healing. Like, I'm like, this is a mother. This is someone who has kids. Like, this is my thing. You have kids, so you should already know what you want around your kid.
They be smoking around their kids,
and that's what I'm saying. We need healing, like, seriously, because I'm just like, I'm like, I'm like, at 25, I was a teacher. Even if I wasn't a teacher, I would have known that if someone asked me to give a presentation at a school, I wouldn't have shown up smelling like weed. Like, I just feel like this is common sense, and it's just like, at a certain point, it's like, why is this glorified? Why is this cool? And I hate sounding like an old ass person who's like 60 and who's like,
I get it.
Back in my day, we had respect, but it's just like,
we do need to grow up as a community because people are, dying. Like, to be frank, like, people think this shit is cool. They think that, whatever. Like, even I feel like it's also a nuanced conversation because, again, from like our upbringing or whatever, it's a little different.
That's true.
And I feel like even more so, like, from our standpoint, like, it's still a little glorified, but then when you take another step further, it becomes even more like, this is, like a true belief that my rep is all I got, and like, just stuff like that. Like, it's a true survival mechanism, I guess.
Yeah.
Or just a old, outdated belief that
We'll
people
get you
really take
killed.
serious and
We'll
will
get you
get you
killed.
killed.
Like it makes me think
And
of
so,
oh
yeah.
sorry. It makes me think of
No.
like um I feel like a couple months ago there was like this, I don't know, something happened, but people were like tweeting and being on TikTok. It was like when my when someone when a man disrespects me and I have to call my man, and people were retweeting me like, girl, you're about to get your man shot. Like at the end of the day, like, why are you calling your man into a hostile situation knowing that he now has to fight? You know what I'm saying? Like this is bad. And it's just like I
Right.
feel like I don't know, it's just like I get that you're like, okay, my rep is all like God and da 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 and do or die and da 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 gang gang whatever, and it's just like it's just like okay, eventually you have to grow up. Eventually
Yeah,
you have
and
to
that's what I'm
realize this
saying.
will get you killed. Eventually you need
Especially
to
the
grow up.
age thing. I can't believe that, because 25 to 31 is a big gap. 25, 24 to 30. I am not about to be arguing with a 24-year-old on the internet. And I just feel like,
I mean, at
yeah, they're not.
25, I wasn't. Like, I'm not trying to be weird, but it's like 25 at this point,
Alexis,
you're in your like mid
obviously I
20s.
wasn't. Obviously, we were not doing that at 25. But I'm saying, like, if somebody was today to come on the internet, like, I just feel like the age thing is just such a thing there. I don't
So,
know.
what you got to say to Young Miami, your peer? She's 30. What about JT? She's 31.
That's what I'm saying, Alexis. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, why would you be arguing with Glorilla, who is new in this game? She's 24 years old. Like, I'm not about to be arguing with you about if I went to jail or if you slap me or something. I'm like, okay, girl, whatever you say. Like, you
And
know what I'm
I
saying?
wonder
Just
if they're
like
doing
whatever
it
you
because,
say.
like, I wonder if they're doing it because they know that, like, the culture they're in, and I mean that is like sense of like rap, hip hop, like city girl, get like, you know, ghetto rap music type of thing. Like I wonder if like they feel like, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, like I say that because like I'm just thinking about like there was a lot of discourse last week on like this idea of ghetto, in quotes, ghetto rap music, and how like Cardi B kind of like laid the foundation for the city girls to be able to like pop and things like that. And it's like, it's, you know, it's a respectable lane of music, and
Hmm.
and
I love it.
with intellect and, you know, whatever. And so I don't say that to be derogatory, but I'm just saying I wonder if that like sector of rap, it really matters like your status, and it really matters like your cred, because
Yeah,
I'm
I
just like,
think so.
you're 30 and 31, one of you has two fucking kids. Why are
I
you
mean, people
even
like
care what people say
a
on the
lot of
internet?
people don't grow up. I think that's something that we really need to, you know, like, these people, because it is confusing. It's like, how can you have all this money, all this growth, and you're on the internet when you could be doing anything in the world
Mm-hmm.
right now? And it's like, I just feel like, you know, it is a maturity thing. It's like Cardi B, that was in the Bronx when somebody was talking to her crazy, was not having it. And
Mm-hmm.
so she hasn't grown out of that. Like, you know, like, it still triggers that, whatever
Mm,
that is,
mm,
to just
mm.
not be able to, like, let it
We
go
gotta
or
grow up,
be
ladies.
better than it. I
We got it,
know.
because I'm like, at a
Oh my
certain
God. And
point,
you share a birthday with Cardi
I
B, like,
know. I
literally
love
date
Cardi B.
and
This is the thing.
year.
I love Cardi B. I think
I
she's
love Cardi B
beautiful. I
too.
love
I
her
love her.
music. I think she's
I'm
sexy.
so
I love
happy
her.
for
Same.
her.
I think I'm so proud of her. This is no shade. Cardi, if you ever listen to this, I love you. We have birthday twins. But this is my thing. We have to grow up. Like, at a certain point, like, I'm just saying, like, there is a
And I
certain level
want
where you
that for
have to move on. Like,
you.
I'm sure.
And
Oh,
Cardi,
sorry.
you're better than
You
that.
are. Like, I'm sure Jay-Z at a point in his life was fighting. I'm sure, like, plenty of
Rihanna, that was a good
Rihanna
example. She used to be
2010s. Rihanna was
on these.
unhinged on
She was,
Twitter.
yes, a
Unhinged.
Twitter bully.
But at a certain point, she grew up. It's like, when will that happen for y'all? Because at a certain point, it's just like, I feel like, yes, you, like, you know, they say, you know, they're not role models and they're nobody's, you know, they're not anyone's mothers and they don't need you, whatever. But at a certain point, it is kind of people see it as glorifying like this aesthetic of can't a bitch fuck
And
with
it's
me and da da da,
real.
you
Like
know.
you don't want to end up in jail. Okay, like for like assaulting
Some of them
someone
might.
because
Some of them might. Like that's the sad part.
I'm just
Some of
talking
them
about
might.
the kids that are listening to
Oh
this.
yeah,
Like,
you're right.
it's just like they're glorifying this stuff and it's just like, you know, this is like I don't know. It's just like this could really end you up in a serious situation that you do not want to be in.
Yeah, honestly, I'm
And we'll
thinking.
be like, what the fuck was I thinking?
It reminds me of January 6th and how, you know, Trump said it will be
I'm dead.
wild, and they go to the Capitol, they storm it, and all of them get charged if they're sitting in
That
jail.
was such a like
They're sitting
mind
in jail cells
switch.
in DC right now, and they're asking Trump for
Yeah.
pardons. And who have they gotten one? No, these people will not save you. That's what my point is.
And I think that we need to know that, like, if we're listening to these songs, music in general, people, let me just break it down. Music in general, art, film is fantasy. It is not reality. Yes, it does
Mm.
inform, it's inspired by real
Mm-hmm.
life and it's inspired by what they say, like what Nina Simone said about like art just being inspired by life
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like we need to understand that just because you're talking about like I will fuck a bitch up on a song doesn't mean that you should go out there and do that, because then you're going to be facing real repercussions of
Mm.
going to jail. And now people are even like with Young Thugs, like they're using their lyrics. It's like, sir, you said here that you blah 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 blah, and it's like, do
Oh,
y'all want
God.
these legal problems? Like, I'm sorry,
They
I
might.
just
The sad point is they might, because then they're like, they feel like they're hard. Like they feel like they did it. They feel like they, I got the
right,
cred now. That's the sad part. I
right,
actually think some of
yeah.
them are fine. And then once they get there and they get a sentence of 20 years, then they're crying. But prior to that, they're all like, yeah, I got a charge. I honestly believe that, because at this point, why else are we why else is that like a flex to say you've gone to jail, unless you can use it as like a car, like, out of,
Yeah,
it's like
card
a,
you can pull,
right.
or just something you've
Or even just
survived.
like people are like, we're clowning J. Cole for apologizing to Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, again,
Yes,
what is wrong with these people? Like, when has apologizing become corny? In what
I
world is
know.
maturity and being the better person corny? Some people need healing, for
I
real.
mean, I feel like people with that, and I'm not necessarily saying that I'm agreeing. I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
what the discourse is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's happened to hip hop? Like, you're not supposed to apologize in hip hop.
That's
Like, you're not
sad.
supposed to, whatever. And it's like, no, people, like, actually, we are evolving as a
Right.
people. We're in different times, and
It's
like hip
sad.
hop's gonna have to evolve with us. Do we really want to live in a world where Kendrick Lamar, specifically these two, I don't really, Drake is like kind of on my shit list, like, but Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, these two black men, like beefing, like, do we really want that? Like, I'm not mad at J. Cole for like saying like, like I was fucked, like I consider this person like a brother in this industry, and I felt fucked up for doing that. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. And
This
then
is my
people are
thing.
gonna say he's, half white and that's why he's soft. And then it just goes back into all of our trauma as black people that
I want every
Lord
person
God.
saying that to give a DNA test and tell me how much percentage of you is white, because it's not 100% black, honey. And then secondly, I'm just
I'm
thinking
dead.
like, why is that? I don't know. It's just so weird to me that apologizing is like, that's not hip hop. What is hip hop? Because then in what world do you put a Kendrick Lamar? Do you put a Mos Def? Do you put a Common? If hip hop is all just gang, fight, fuck girls, get money, never apologize, then what do you say for the rappers who like Kendrick Lamar, who got a Pulitzer Prize for writing? Like, and he doesn't just talk about shooting. Like, it's like, it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense
but
if you want to put both of them in the same category,
it's
being like,
not
this is not
always
hip
about,
hop, but you
yeah.
categorize other people as hip hop that aren't doing this thing that you call hip hop. So it's just like, at the end of the day,
I
it's
think
a
with the beef
contradiction.
thing, I agree. I think with the beef thing though, it's like It's not because I feel like in Kendrick's, um, in Kendrick's, like diss or whatever, he wasn't saying he was about to come shoot him. He was just saying like he's not as good as him and he'll never be in a category with him. Whatever the hell he was saying. And so it's like, even if it's not violent, it's still like, yeah, like I want better for
I
us.
want
And
better for
like, and I feel
us.
like it's sad that people are feeling like we're losing the what do people say? Like losing the recipes of hip hop and blah 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 because people
Mm.
can't. And it's just like, what do you mean? Jay-Z and Nas are like buddy buddy, like they had beef. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people that have had beef and have come
Would you want
together.
beef? Like that's my thing. Like there are,
Yeah.
yes, I get that there are moments in, hip hop where the like rap beef brings like some of the greatest like songs ever out of it. But even aside from just the songs, like why would y'all
Yeah.
want two like
And that's what
artists
I'm
fighting to the
saying.
point where we get another like Biggie and Tupac or something like that? What is the point? I just don't
You're so
understand.
funny, Alexis.
I just don't understand what's so attractive and cool about having these two black artists fight. At a certain point, like someone has to say this is corny. Like this is
Because
not.
and I don't want to like go there, but it's just like I don't see
Go
fucking
there, go there.
like I don't. And yes, like we have, because like I'm thinking like, we don't really see the white celebs like, you know, tearing each other. Like Christina Aguilera is not like coming for
I hate you,
Britney
Brittany.
Spears, right? Like, bitch, like come see me, Britney. Like, you're not better than me, whatever. But obviously, we've had our Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, whatever. But still, the majority, and like even them, they're not doing that shit right now. Well, Selena, I don't know about her, but I know Demi's living her life.
Selena's living her life too. I feel like she just posts like thirst traps for Justin to like throw up at. But like other than
No,
that,
remember at the freaking
in a good
awards
way.
at at the Oscars when like
Oh
Selena was
yeah,
she like was at the
He
table with
didn't
Taylor
say
Swift.
hi or
I think
whatever.
that they are immature. I'm sorry, Taylor Swift.
I mean, girl.
Taylor Swift gives me immature.
Look, we'll have a whole
So does
episode
Selena.
about Taylor Swift. Okay, we don't even gotta.
Don't get me
Let's
mad.
not open that can of worms. But I get what you're saying. Like, I feel like at least, and if they're doing it, we don't see it on our Twitter. It doesn't get to Black Twitter, And so I just feel like, and I feel like I would have read about it, like honestly, because I keep up with
Yeah.
pop culture. Like, I agree. I mean, I think it's just sad, and I feel like healing needs to happen because there should be no point where like it's cool for two black people to be publicly that are like of high stat, like not public, of public status, not high status, to be like publicly fighting, to be like flexing about jail, to be flexing about I got a
We
Glock
just really
loaded.
it's really like, as a people, we have to calm down.
There
like,
should be
these are people.
There should be consequences. You know how like Samantha once not led an initiative, but she did tell me once that
oh god
that no, and I think you're right. Like if you like do a crime to a black person, it should be like you should like a black person doing a crime to another black person.
Yes,
there should be a consequence.
Yes, yes. It should be like as a community putting like harming, killing a person of our community should be something that we like shun that person for because we know how precious that we are. We also know how much we like. I feel like even with the Jewish community, like they're very particular about wanting to repopulate the Jewish people that got killed. Like,
that's their thing.
Just that's like a narrative within their community. I feel the same way about our community. Like, we have been in this country, we have been killed for nothing, for like the number of people that were just like hung and like all that stuff. It's just like to kill another black person should be like the worst thing you could do. Like it would just be like, shame, you are shunned, we are not fucking with you, like just having some type of integrity within our community and like something to keep us because we have to understand that we literally were stripped of every integrity that would make you feel like a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we have a lot of unlearning to do, and like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
Mhm.
Like, I have two thoughts. One, I want to say, and like, I don't want to be like a person who's like pushing respectability politics. Like, I'm all for someone to
Express
make to like
themselves.
twerk, talk
Even
about
just
a bitch.
express yourself. My thing is like, this is where I'm talking about the reality to, and maybe as humans we can't handle that. Maybe we can't listen
But
to a song. Maybe like we can't watch like BMF, for example,
mm-hmm.
that's like
Mm.
shooting, like this lifestyle that happened, and not normalize it and be
Mm.
desensitized to
Mm.
actually acting on these things, or listening to music that is, whatever and whatever. Obviously, we don't want to listen to like somebody faking about all this stuff, but like we also don't want people getting murdered in the street. So like,
There's
let's
also just that's
evolve,
even
because
also,
there's ways, just like we are talking about Kendrick, like
yes. Let me
there's
say
ways to express yourself
yes.
and
Come on.
defend yourself
Yes.
without killing a person
Let's
or
just
acting
evolve our
ignorant.
pen. If your pen can't go further than shooting, sex, and like
Yeah,
money and
pretty
in
much.
a chain around your neck,
Alexis, I'm
then you're
dead.
not that good of a writer. Your pen is not that tough. Because I'm
You're
like,
right.
there's so many other things to write about. Come on now, let me talk about a couple. Beyonce. Let's just even talk about Cowboy Carter, right?
We can't stop talking about it.
I know.
We're obsessed. We're addicted.
Literally. Um, we can start off with. Let me look at my thing. Alligator tears. That's not about sex. That's not about chains. That's not about shooting. That's like, I mean, in my interpretation, it's about being wrapped around someone's finger. Someone could think about that as white woman tears. If that's just one example. Let's talk about the Dixie Chicks. Okay, sorry, the Chicks. Like literally. Let's talk about what's one of their songs.
We sound so old.
I know.
Oh my god! But
wide open spaces. It's about growing up and like hitting the road and moving on and like taking your first like adult leap of faith and like without your parents. Like there's so many things you could talk about than talking about your chain, your money, having sex, and fighting,
or
your
being better than the
being
next
better
bitch.
than the next bitch. It's actually boring. At a certain point, it's boring and it's tired.
We want the song. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Yeah Glow and I love singing like, you got me fucked up, because that's a normal part of human expression. Okay. But what I'm saying is like, again, I'm going to take it back to reality versus fantasy. It's something that's very prevalent in my life right now.
Yeah, come on.
Like listening to Beyonce's love stories and listening to, even when I'm watching TV or like, I'm listening to Daughter, I'm like, this is art. This is not my concrete life right here. Like, these
just
things,
evolve. Your pen is not that tough. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't be like, how many albums are you gonna make about you talking about you being better than the next bitch? At a certain point, your pen is not that tough. We need to talk about it. Your pen is not that tough. And like, this is my thing.
For Megan. What's Megan about to be talking about?
Right, and that's what
Megan be talking about real stuff.
She talks about real stuff.
About her anxiety and all of that.
She talks about real stuff.
Megan.
There's more than talk. Like, that's how I always say this to Julia. I'm like sometimes she be playing songs and it's about love, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm like, if you're a singer singing about love at this point, it's boring. Everyone sings about love. Move on. Talk to me about insecurity. Talk to me about even just like the neighborhood. Talk to me about a fantasy world. Make a whole nother fantasy world up and like rap about some person in there. Talk to me about hair. Talk to me about your upbringing. Talk to me about racism. Anything else, but to talk about
grow up,
you have to. It's boring. Like at a certain point, your pen is not that tough.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Like, and we have to talk about it. It's not just that like you make bad music. I actually don't think you're capable of writing better. That's where I think you lack imagination. Maybe that's the thing. But it's just like, look, and I'm not gonna sit here and say much more because it's like, Well, actually, no. Like I have had people tell me that I make like I'm not gonna say I make pretty good raps, but it's like whenever I whenever I need it, there were times when I was like when I was pledging Delta and I had to make raps up, people literally were like, "Yo, she's like low key a
Yeah.
lyricist." Like I like would say things,
Y'all don't know that Alexis is actually a rapper.
and like it's like I can
She's got
actually
a whole
talk about
career.
more than just this, you know. And so it's just like it's boring, and I'm just like evolve, like for real, evolve,
Yeah,
like
it's time. And like we have to as a community evolve, because why are we again like I would love to just hear the discourse that happens from this. Like, are people sad? Like, are people like, oh man, the city girls is fighting? Or are we like, oh my god, the city girls is fighting? Like are we
girl.
like getting our lives because like the city girls are not talking? Like, you know what I mean?
I saw
Like, I
so
don't
many
know.
retweets being like, "My messy butt loving this," you know, and stuff like that. It's just like, look, I agree with Samantha. It should be a really like breach of trust, a breach of like a connection with the community if you as a Black person are continuously like amplifying harmful things such as like gun violence against your own people, such as like going
Especially
to
because we're at
jail and
an
flaunting it.
epidemic. Like,
Right.
this is not like, this is serious. Like, it's people that are dying every day in our cities, our Black babies that we claim to love and like cherish. It's like, yeah, we can't. It sucks because yeah, they have to evolve past like the beat. Like, because like right now the best parts of some of those songs are just like the beat, honestly.
It is. And it's just like I want to hear something more than about your chain. Like, you know, it's just stupid. Like
I'm gonna try to listen to
I
a
like
little
that
bit
one
of
song.
Future's album to
Oh
see like
god.
what he's talking about.
I like that one song
'Cause I want to just keep my ear and see if people
the
are
City Girls
evolving.
have, and I'm a say the one song that I like, and that's the only thing I like. What was it called?
And like I have definitely sung a City Girl song.
Twerkulator.
You are hilarious. I was not expecting that to be the song. I definitely have, I've liked the City Girls. I'm happy
Oh,
for
City on
them.
Lock. I like City on Lock. This
I
is
don't even
their.
know the titles of the ones that
I'm
I
looking.
like,
So these
but
are some of their song names. Broke niggas. Okay.
Alexis.
The next one's
I'm
called
not mad at that
no. The
one.
next one's called Flued Out. Okay, like someone flies you out. Flued out.
Okay,
Okay,
not
then
mad.
I'm not mad, but I'm just like evolve, man. I've heard so many lines about someone getting flown out.
It's
Like,
just yeah, it's just like the subject matter is all about the same thing, kind of.
right. It's like, look, I'm not mad at look, JT and Young Miami, get your money. One thing I will not like stop is some Black person getting money. But it's just like, okay, clout chasing. I've heard so many bars about somebody saying that someone's clout chasing.
Oh my god,
Um,
the kitty talk. I actually kind of like that one.
panties
The
in a
kitty talk.
bra. Okay.
Mm, mm.
Drip.
How to pimp a nigga.
Swerve.
Lord.
Trap star.
Oh yeah, where the bag at? I definitely like that one.
Act Up. Oh, I like Act Up actually. I do
I
like
like
Act Up.
act
That
up
one goes good.
too.
That one's good. Um,
Oh, that was pussy. That was the one that I was thinking.
Show Me the Money. Okay, maybe. Fancy ass bitch. Like okay. Face Down. Okay. Fuck the
Alexis.
D to the A. Okay. I mean, look.
And
I
it's
love.
like I'm not mad at like again. I don't want to give the impression that like
We hate the city girls. We don't.
or not even that we hate the girls. Like I'm okay with this being a part of the catalog and having fun or whatever. And like even with that, they're not really talking about I don't know killing people or like
That's
doing
true.
bad things
They're
in the
not.
community. And so it's like whatever. Like yes, I want to have fun, but it's just like in terms of the lifestyle outside when it becomes reality and y'all are like talking about I've been to jail, I slapped you. It's just like
That's awful. That's
okay.
awful. That should be immediate. We point our finger at you and we say shame, shame on you. That's awful.
It's
Okay.
just like And it's just so funny because our community is so sad. Like literally, I just thought about this part in the Abbott Elementary episode when it was like, do you remember the fight episode where like the two girls and
Yes.
they were like getting in a fight or whatever,
Yes.
and then the little boy that's like he like is like a, I don't want to call him a hotep. I don't know what else to call him.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my God, he's so funny.
I know he like wouldn't say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
And like he was like, I hate to see my my sisters fighting, but that was like a good fight or whatever. And it's just like, it's sad that like to say like I hate to see my sisters fight is like, now you're a hotep. Like now you're like now we ultimately put you in that category.
Because the people are like lighting up, but it's just like, look, I do want better for us, you know? And this is the thing. I'm all here for the
balance. It's like, about balance.
And I don't want, again, I don't want to be a person who's like playing into respectability politics, as I said. No. But I don't think it's playing into respectability politics to say, stop flaunting going to jail. Stop flaunting that you have a gun and it's locked and loaded and I'm ready to go. Like, that's not respectability politics.
It's because we want better for...
We want better for you.
We want better for you and everybody else. We don't want people dying and going to jail.
Right. And to say...
Because that's literally what you're saying. You're not saying, I'm wearing... Like, I feel like respectability politics is like what your appearance looks like or whatever. Or the way you're talking. It's like, no, it's literally the subject matter of killing and losing your freedom.
And then secondly, us telling you to evolve your lyrics, again, we just want better for you, baby. Like, we want you to be able to talk about more than like your butt being fat. You know, we want you to be able to talk about more than these bitches jealous of me. They hating on me. Like, it's just like grow up.
Yeah, we gotta
grow up.
I think you're right about the healing. I think you're right about, because a lot of times that is what, you know, a lot of, especially Black women, I'm learning. Ooh, Lord, we're gonna get into that one day. But in these communities, I'm just really, that I'm a part of now, I'm just really learning about how Black women have been sexualized and only valued for their bodies, like for centuries or whatever. And so like that stuff is really ingrained in us, like a part of us, I feel like. And even like, because, you know, we've obviously gone through our phases, but as a community, but I just feel like that subconscious belief is still kind of there. And yeah, we need to heal. We need to know that we are worth so much. Like, just our being. Life. We are life. We give life.
Right,
we
as Beyonce said.
To everybody.
And we also are worth respect. And so we should respect each other. And I'm not trying to be like a weirdo because I just sat here on a podcast and said, you know, judge the hell out of some people. But it's like, regardless, like, we do need, like, it's just crazy to me that like anybody with like such a platform would like be beefing with each other, but whatever, that's besides the point.
I just think they need to call each other on the phone. Like, why do we need to be involved?
That's what JT said. She was like, I want to have a sit down, and then they just kept going. But who knows, maybe they'll have a little sit down. I would love to see how that goes. But yeah, I do think the City Girls are over, and you know,
okay, we're evolving as everybody. Hopefully, yeah. God, pray for everybody.
Well, y'all, we do love to hear from y'all and want to hear like some of the topics y'all would love us to talk about.
Yes, and please email us your topic discussions. So like literally we can talk about, you know, anything, like any topics. It's not just celebrities and pop culture, you know, really anything. So please email us at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. And it'll be in our show notes too. So yeah, send us your discussion topics because we want to know what y'all want us to talk about.
Yes, we're hitting up on an hour, so let's wrap it up. But this was a good conversation, I feel. I love when I get to think about things, and you know, I might have missed some things, but charge it to my head and not my heart.
We're still be talking about this because
we still gonna talk.
This is happening literally as we speak. So this will be a continuous conversation. And I feel like, we didn't even really get into all the stuff. We talked about a lot today.
All right, well, we will
Alexis,
talk to you
this is what she
later.
does. She hangs up on me.
I gotta start closing up the combo.
I know. All right. Well, we love you guys. See y'all next week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to email us your discussion topics at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to Who Am I to Judge podcast on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast. If you love us, please rate us and review. And if you don't, leave us alone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week. Bye, friends.